What's up, everyone? Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Show Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course. As you can see from the title of this video, I will be giving my commentary on Carlos King's interview with Chris and Nell Fletcher from Love and Marriage Huntsville. I have to say, I absolutely love Nell Fletcher. She is such an open book, and I can tell that she is that lady who, her own self definition is old school, but she is not old school judgmental. She is not old school closed minded, but she is old school approachable, old school a great listener, old school easy to talk with. And we're going to get into how she really exudes that type of energy. Now, before we do, I ask that you all please hit the like button on this video. It will cause YouTube to recommend this video to more people who enjoy the show Love and Marriage Huntsville, as well as the bloggers' commentary on the show. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. I would love to have you. I like to do live recaps of the Love and Marriage Huntsville episodes. I'll be live tomorrow evening, to review this week's episode. And I also cover some celebrity tea and some celebrity gossip. All right. And of course, the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary of these sound bites are allowed. All right. So we're going to jump right on in. Now, of course, as we all know, last week, Carlos made this Instagram post. I made a video about it. I titled the video, "Who Are the Fletchers Replacing?" Carlos's Instagram post was "Meet the Fletchers." And he talked about how, initially Nell said that she did not want to be on the show. And she was saying that the scene where Melody and Martell were at their home outside on the lanai, and Martell was being disrespectful and Melody threw the glass. It turns out she threw some more stuff. You're going to hear in a moment. But Nell said that scene made her think, oh my gosh, absolutely not. And Chris Fletcher says that they get asked all the time, was that scene real or was it staged? And this is what they had to say.
I was like, oh, hell no. This was like, it kind of reminded me of my family, my kids, actually. So it was a moment. It really was. But so, yeah. But I guess it's life. It happens.
Yeah, after breaking all the crystals, because that was real glass. That was not plastic.
Oh, yeah. Mel tore up some shit, right?
Yeah.
She did. We didn't see none of that coming.
No.
I ripped my new silk blouse and everything. Look at my camera. I said, what for the camera?
Yeah, that was a real scene. A lot of people always ask and think that things are scripted, and we have scripts, to do these things, and I have to tell them no, we don't have a script. This is all reality TV. So this is coming from our heads, our mouths, our actions. So yeah.
Yeah, they really thought that whole scene. People thought that whole scene was like, was it staged or something? I was like, hell no. I lost like new crystal, new glassware, things I had too long purchased. Like, no. I would not have met them do that.
No, plastic cups.
No, exactly.
Drink out this damn red cup.
Red solo cups.
Nobody's seen that coming because Martell does the most, he did the most, and damn it, he did the most that day. But if I was Mel, I would have probably told the damn backyard up too. So, cause he said a mouthful.
Yeah, he chose the words.
He said a mouthful that day. So yeah, I actually would have took that whole, because she picked up not only the picture she threw, she picked up the wine metal. It's what you sit your wine in. It's the decor for the wine hole, but it's for backyard. So it was like metal, and we had ice sitting down in it. She picked that whole thing up and swung it at it. We all was trying to get out the way. So yeah. She actually clocked out for real. Like seriously. She left him. She like literally left him. So he didn't see it coming. I didn't see it coming. Fletcher didn't see it coming. And if I hadn't, I think you grabbed her and I kind of pushed him.
Yeah.
She almost took his damn head off. Yeah, that's seriously.
I love how Nell empathizes with Melody about her becoming triggered by Martell constantly saying that the side chick was satisfying him physically. And we all know that Melody definitely was satisfying Martell physically because they have 4 children, and their 4 children are close in age. And I know that you all don't need like a accelerated health class, but we know that the man has to climax in order to deposit his seed. Okay, so Melody was definitely satisfying Martell. So that is all cap when he talks about, that the side chick was satisfying him more. And I never questioned whether or not the glass throwing was staged. I felt like it was definitely real because I could relate to Melody if I was being disrespected and lied on in such a way. And I've birthed 4 of your children. Obviously, we were doing it. I would be triggered as well. So I think sometimes, because we are used to some shows staging some scenes, we kind of question every single thing that we see on reality TV. But certainly the glass throwing that season was definitely real. Now, Carlos is going to ask Nell about her cheating, or her being cheated on by Chris Fletcher, I should say. And so I'm going to just let the soundbite play and then come back with my commentary.
Marriage, and being able to deal with that, which again is super duper relatable. When all of that was happening, how did you two work through that? Because the audience has seen the hosts at the time they were married, tried to work through that. It didn't work out. And the reason why people are still invested in Martell and Melody separately or together, whatever, is because they saw the journey of trying to make it work. Because a lot of couples can relate to that. And you two really tried your best to counsel them. Chris really tried to be his big brother to say, bro, I cheated on my wife. It wasn't a bad situation. She forgave me and we're moving on and we're blissful. Now, how were you able to deal with that and get through it?
It was a bad situation. It kind of hurts to talk about it because some of that is what I was trying to tell Martell. You looking at that time, and I want to say that was about 5 years ago when we said that to them. You have 4 beautiful children that they made together. We have 4 beautiful children and came into marriage with 2 of them. And that affects your kids. It's not always just about you. I was looking at the hurt of the kids, our children together, because we did separate for almost right at 2 years. That was separation.
Separate homes and everything.
And that was hard for Lexi, and that's some of the things she deals with. She would call me and ask for her dad, and it was kind of hard for me to tell her dad wasn't there. But I did tell her mom that her dad wasn't there, and we eventually told her that her dad wasn't there. So I tried to explain, like, everybody took a hurting from it. For me personally, I kind of just shut down from the world. I lost a lot of weight. It was a lot. It was a lot for me. I couldn't concentrate on my job. I couldn't, for weeks, I couldn't even get out of bed. You thought he would have died. It was just, it hurt me to my soul, to my core. It really took a toll on me. It took a toll on the family. It took a minute for the kids to forgive him. He had to really go through it. He had broken the family, not only trust with me, he broke the family. The kids didn't understand that. I was embarrassed by it. I felt like everybody was looking at me because we were the ones that always had it together. So yeah, it was hard. It was real hard.
No, I can.
So first I want to say thank you, Nell and Chris Fletcher, for being so open and honest about your feelings and your experience when your marriage went through that time of cheating and betrayal and dishonesty. You all don't have to be so open with us, especially when you're on a show where people fake the funk, if you will, and they do not share the real in their lives. So I appreciate you all for being so brave and so open with us viewers. And I don't want anyone to feel embarrassed because they were cheated on. It is not your fault that the spouse lacked self-control and gave into their physical urges and betrayed you. Now, just some background on Chris and Nell Fletcher. They actually met at a club. They were both with a friend, and they said that Nell didn't feel like going out that night and Chris didn't, but their friends both wanted to go out and wanted someone to go with them. And they made eye contact at the club, and that is how they met. And as you heard in that soundbite, after Chris Fletcher cheated, they were separated for 2 years. That's a very long time. And Nell was very eloquent and clear when she basically explained how her being cheated on affected her physiologically. It wasn't just the hurt feelings, but mentally, she said she could not focus on her job. Can any of you all relate to that? I know that I can. First of all, a woman's intuition is so strong. I know for me, when I could tell a person that I was talking to was also seeing someone, and finding out, like, I would get like the tightness in my chest and the pain in my belly, and then it's like, yes, you're at work, and it is hard to focus. And then she talked about how she would be in bed for weeks, and it was just a lot on her physically. And then the kids had to forgive him. And that is the thing about cheating, really any type of indiscretion, period. It spreads out. It affects other people. So the cheating affects the children, it affects the in-laws, it affects your mutual friends that are friends with both of you. They don't want to feel like they're forced to take sides. It affects everyone. And I think that one thing about Chris Fletcher, he seems to self-review, so he understands. Martell doesn't do any of that. All right, so speaking of Chris is going to chime in and give his explanation on his cheating.
You guys dealt with it, and we're celebrating 30 years next year, so there's much more to be happy about. But Chris, one thing that I think the audience wanted from Martell at that time was a sense of responsibility and ownership and explanation, really, an explanation. And to his credit, he provided his own version of what his reasons were, and that's him. Regardless if people want to accept it or not, that's what he says his reasons were, right? Speaking globally, because I always wanted to understand this from a man's perspective, I think when a man goes through something, he can help heal other men who also go through that. And I know that was your intention in speaking to Martell throughout the course of these 6 seasons. When you were going through that, what was the reason that that a man chooses to step out. Because I want our female audience to kind of finally, have someone kind of explain it without them feeling like they're blaming it on their wife.
Honestly, I don't know how to speak for all men. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I can't do that. But what I can say is, and perhaps, you can understand this, as well, but it takes a while sometimes for most men to grow up, to mature. And then when you, at a certain age, maybe younger, you, as they say, you kind of are who you hang around, in a sense. You are who you hang around type thing. So when you're in that environment, you have people that may edge you on, or things of that nature. Sometimes that responsibility kind of leaves your mind for a minute. If that's the correct way of saying it, peer pressure. Even as an adult, even as a man, and other men around, and you put yourself in those situations, by being in a certain club, or being where there are women around, or single women around, or whatever the case may be. I think it's an immature move to make on most men, and we tend to do it without even thinking about it. I don't know if I can really say what the reason would be. I would have to. I know what I can say. It had nothing to do with her. It's not that she wasn't doing this or wasn't doing that. It's just a very immature action that happened.
Yeah. No,
Okay, so y'all, first I want to say, did you all find Carlos's question interesting? The way that he worded it, he wanted Chris to chime in about giving some sort of valid explanation as to why he cheated, so that us female viewers would feel like the wife isn't being blamed. So you want Chris in some sort of politician way to try and blame his wife for his cheating, without us female viewers be able to say that he was blaming his wife. Okay, Carlos, we're not idiots, okay? So he just knows that Martell's reasoning was trifling and weak and does not validate him cheating. So he wanted to hear what Chris had to say. But kudos to Chris Fletcher, who said at the very end of that soundbite, he knows it had nothing to do with his wife. She did nothing wrong for him to cheat on her. I appreciate that, Chris Fletcher. That shows that he has humbled himself, and to what he said, he has matured. He talked about something that we've heard all the time, that men are immature and it takes them very long to mature. I personally, individually feel like that is an excuse that society has given men for when they are a player and they are promiscuous, they take long to mature, and I feel like as long as we keep throwing that term around, the men will fall on that as their cushion, and women will tell themselves, well, men are immature and it takes them longer to mature, so let me wait and see if he'll change. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's this excuse that society as a whole has created, and it's something to help women kind of hang on. Thankfully in Nell's predicament, Mr. Fletcher did change for the better, and she's not putting up with that disrespect anymore. But he did feel like men are immature. And he also said that if you are a married man, you should not be in certain environments, perhaps with other men who cheat, or other single men who can date whomever they want because they're not married yet. And I think that that's fair. I think that that is smart to think that way. Now, they're actually going to give their commentary, the Fletchers will, on Martell's obsession with him receiving oral favors and claiming that, it wasn't enough from Melody. So here we go.
Two have done a great job at your transparency. Now, Ms. Nell, word on the street is you did, you ain't no punk, and you definitely, boom, 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 boom. When Nell is pissed, Nell goes in.
Well, back to this infidelity real quick for me.
Okay.
This is something I need to get off. For a minute, because I kept thinking something was wrong with me. And I know Martell would like to say, for Mel, she ain't sucking no, excuse my language, but and you come to find out, hell, Mel sucking his, I'm sucking Fletcher. I mean, I just feel like, how much can you suck as a woman? I think they, at that time, they just get ignorant and stupid and just want to do shit and don't think about what they're doing and don't realize what they have to lose. Because this is what I told Martell. Like, the next woman just want her spot. So, of course, ain't no telling what she doing. She's probably doing the damn handstand. She's doing more than something. Probably going in your ass. And I told his ass the same damn thing, too. It's like, yeah, they do all types of shit until they get your ass. And then what? Like they don't get tired. Nobody wants to their mouth every day. Like, it just is what it is. And that's what I tell them.
Well, Nell, speak for yourself. Don't tease them.
They're laughing now.
I need a break, though. I'm scared. No, like, seriously. Like I said, it's just peer pressure. Just them being who they are as men and just doing shit.
No, I have heard that. This is.
Okay, so that when you heard like that moment of silence, that is Nell and Chris cracking up, and they were not expecting Carlos to say, as far as not having, peeing in your mouth every day, speak for yourself. They were not expecting him to say that, and they were just cracking up. But I have to agree. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, I feel like a lot of men, they're not even down for reciprocating oral favors, but yet they always want to receive it from the woman. I think that for them, they take it as like an act of submission, even physically, to be down on your knees and then like they grab the back of your head or something. It's all very submissive for the person who's giving the oral favors. And Martell being obsessed with it, it speaks to his mindset, his level of intellect. He doesn't even have the mental capacity to look at all of the pluses in his marriage and to not obsess over that one act. But she's absolutely right, and then how much can you do for one thing, and over and reciprocate at that same pace, at that same level. And let's see, how much are you into it then, Martell? All right, so you heard Carlos's question. He said, word on the street is, Nell, that you beat up the side chick, allegedly. Got to look out for Nell. So let's just hear this soundbite. It's hilarious.
Yeah, I heard you knocked on her door, dragged her by the head, and started banging it.
That happened years ago, and a lot of stuff was supposed to be sealed, and I ain't really trying to talk about it, but I don't need that woman come looking for me. But, yeah. Well, I ain't calling her name. She know what it is, I know what it is. But yes, I'm not in the line. That did happen. It did. But that was my husband. That was my husband. And I was pissed with his damn lies. He's lying.
No, listen, you are an accomplished woman. You are definitely somebody. Listen, all jokes aside, I love it too of you because you two are very honest and you're very transparent. And you're able to, even like years later, you're able to show like the strength of you being like, look, talking about it still hurts, but I'm still able to sit next to this man, loving up on him because he apologized, he made things right. And the other.
Okay, so she admitted she had a moment where she was angry and she, allegedly put hands on the side chick. Now, does Ebony condone violence? Absolutely not. Here on Show Style and Spirit, we do not condone any act of violence or bullying or people crossing boundaries, okay? Whether that is, physically or, if you're trying to harass someone electronically or whatever. But I also understand moments of weakness and being human, and being fed up and being up to your eyeballs in disrespect and agony and pain. So that is what she did, and no one is perfect. And that's all I'm going to speak up on that. Now, Carlos actually asked Chris his thoughts about Nell going toe-to-toe with Martell. Carlos said, wow, Nell, you really stand up to Martell. I'm sure that he finds that quite different for the women on the show, being as though Tisha never speaks up to Marceau, and Kimmy even backs up Martell, which is insane. And Kimmy definitely doesn't speak up to Maurice. She can't get him to do anything. So Nell is going to interject, and I love it. And here's what she has to say about her standing up to Martell.
Up to Martell a lot, and you go toe to toe with Martell, and it's fascinating to watch. Chris, talk to me about that because of course the fans are saying, "No, crazy, you need to check Martell. He's talking to Nell crazy." What do you have to say to that?
Well, for me first, I know you said Chris. The dynamics of my family, I'm used to standing. I don't care how big you are. I don't care that you're a man. I have uncles. I have a brother. I will stand up to your ass, and that's why I'm not gonna back down for something that I'm so passionate about, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. I love Martell, but I love Mel. Me and Mel have been through similar situations. It's just that they worked out differently. Mel is not old school, and she would tell me that I ain't staying just because your ass stay. She does. Like, hell, I ain't built like that. I'm just not built like that, and I have to respect that. And at the same time, she did stay, and that's why I keep trying to tell him she got your ass 5 years. Unfortunately, she did, but she's not old school. It's like, you know what, this new generation, I got to put up this shit, I'm gone, I'm out, I can do bad by myself, I can do this by myself, so I respect her on that. And I feel I'm so passionate about it because I still stand to what I said. I told his ass this. We've stayed up countless nights. We've stayed up to 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun has come up. I'm talking to Martell, and I'm like, Martell, do you want to throw all this away? Do you want to throw away what you guys have built together? Do you not understand where you're from, where she's from, and then to have a family, kids that you brought here together, no outside children at the time? That's rare. That's pure. That's beautiful. Even we didn't have that. We came into the marriage with 2 children. So I don't really think he said he was listening, he understood. I don't think he really got it at the time. So that's why I get on to him like that. That's why I'm so passionate about it, because I have pretty much experienced it. It's just slightly different, but it's still, infidelity is infidelity, however you want to put it.
Well,
Now, I just have to say the Fletchers, they are great at interviews because that was a loaded soundbite and she hit on a couple of important points. First, in the beginning, she said, I'm not going to be afraid of standing up to a man. I have a brother. I grew up with lots of uncles. So, yeah, I'm not going to be afraid just because you're physically bigger than me. So, that is great that Nell is not intimidated by a man. A few times we'll see on reality TV shows like Married to Medicine, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like if the husbands would get mad at Dr. Heavenly, she would say, "Oh no, don't address me. You a man addressing a woman." So Nell has a different mindset than that. She's like, "Oh no, I'm not going to be afraid to go toe to toe with you simply because you are a man and I am a woman." So she is not differentiating those differences in gender, meaning that she can't speak up to him. So I think that that's wonderful. And then also she talked about, this new generation, they're not going to put up with it. They're going to leave. I think that that's very true. I think that as time goes on and, women are so educated, especially Black women being the most educated species with at least a master's degree. I have a few friends with their PhDs. And so, more women are in the workplace. They're making enough money to qualify for mortgages on their own. They'll be single parents. Not saying that it may not be physically taxing to be a single parent, but women can do it. So I think that what Nell said was definitely valid and accurate. So there was the back picture of Marceau and him actually creating this alibi, making Chris Fletcher his alibi. And of course, Carlos King asked Chris Fletcher about it. And here's what Chris and Nell had to say.
Came out was whether or not Marceau was with you in Atlanta throughout his time there when these alleged photos came back, unintended, of his back. And there was some discrepancy you felt because you're like, look, like you said earlier, when you hang out with people and they do certain things, I don't want to be grouped with that no more. So was there a discrepancy in the timeline based on Marceau's story that you was with him in Atlanta when all these alleged activities happened?
Well, here's the thing. And I still stand on what I said. I was there. He was there. My wife was in town with me in Atlanta. So that's just what it was. The time period that he's speaking of, I don't know. Honestly, I never heard what his time period was. What I do know is that he and I did meet in Atlanta. We were together. We did look at property. We did go to the Atlanta Fish Market and grab something to eat, which was very fast because he was he was done. I mean, the damn what they call sushi rolls just didn't stand a chance. I mean, they didn't stand a fucking chance. But we were together. We were together for probably 2.5 hours. That's all I can tell you. We were together 2.5 hours. After that, I don't know.
And he was back at the Airbnb.
Right, and I was back at the house.
The reason why I know that, basically, I just put it out there. I had surgery. So I was there.
Brett,
I got Marie. Yeah. And I got my tummy tuck. I had a tummy tuck. So it was doing my surgery. Marceau asked Fletcher, "Hey, since you in town, can you show me this problem?" So Fletcher had to take care of me. So I knew he was gone for like 2.5 hours at the most, but he was back at damn Airbnb. So I just, I'm like, you know what? When he said, "Oh, Chris Fletcher," I was like,
in the car with Tish that night.
yeah, like, I'm gonna call his brother, but since she had the nerve to go ask me how we ever had damn infidelity, my husband went with his ass the whole time. I know what my husband was. Now, this one thing I ain't gonna do. I ain't gonna lie for his ass. I ain't gonna lie for no damn man. But I knew where his ass was that damn day because I knew where I was. And I knew why I was there and why he was there. So whatever Marceau was doing there, I can't say on that. Yeah. I don't know about them back pictures. I don't know.
Not you sipping a cocktail after reading, okay?
Okay, so Chris said, as far as to what Marceau was doing, I don't know. All I know is he asked me to show him a property, and I did, and we got some sushi. And we weren't even there long because he inhaled his food. And then Nell said, I was having surgery in the Atlanta area. And so Chris wouldn't have been gone long anyway because he had to take care of me. So totally Marcel's alibi debunked. Okay. So you all let me know in the comments, what did you think about Carlos King's interview with Chris and Nell Fletcher? It is another virtual interview. I've made videos about Carlos. He has started doing the in-person interviews, but it's with people who have been on other reality TV shows, the vets who have been in the reality TV game for several years now. He'll interview them face to face, but he definitely has not made the trek out to Huntsville to do any of these interviews in person. He does them on a virtual level. But I guess that's his prerogative. I just can't help but notice the vast difference in how he interviews the cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville and people from other shows. And I remember watching his interview with Nene, and she told him, you should do more of these. And he has, but once it was time to interview the Fletchers, it was really quick and on Zoom. But still, because the Fletchers are awesome, this was a great interview. And you all let me know what you thought about it in the comments. I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. It is a free way of supporting the channel, and YouTube will push this video through its algorithm. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit. Thank you so much for checking out this video, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.